Hi guys, today I'm going to be talking about rejection and basically what to do when you get rejected by someone. So it doesn't really matter if this is someone you've known for a long time and you've finally mustered up the courage to say something to them and they've rejected you, or if you're just in a club or a bar and you ask someone out or you ask for their phone number and they say no. The same rules sort of apply, okay? So when you get rejected, obviously, it's okay to let it hurt. Like, if you're the type of person that doesn't get hurt, doesn't feel sad, or doesn't feel upset, or doesn't feel just even a little bit bummed out about getting rejected, then there's possibly something wrong with you and you could be a little bit on the narcissistic side. So obviously it's okay to actually, feel a bit down when someone rejects you because it's not obviously a nice thing to go through. One of the basically the things that they are saying to you and you feel it in you, like, yeah, you know what, I'm not really interested in mating with you and making the next generation of children with you. You're not what I want to use in that kind of way, because that's kind of like how nature works. We are picking partners that subconsciously we want to carry on the next generations with and have children with, right? That's kind of like how we're wired. We're just wired in that way. So it really stings when someone rejects us because it feels like, oh, you don't think I'm good enough to carry on the human race, right? That's how it kind of feels. And it's kind of true. Like, that's how it kind of works out. However, that doesn't mean that everyone's going to think that way about you, okay? So don't think that just because one person rejects you, or even if you've been rejected quite frequently, that there's not someone out there that will actually want to be with you and will want to, have babies with you one day or something. So it stings, and it's normal for it to sting. That's fundamentally my point there, okay? So allow yourself to feel and experience those emotions, because if you repress them, then that's going to do a little bit more harm than good. So if you need to like scream into your pillow, if you need to go to the gym and punch a punching bag for like half an hour, then go and do that. Let that energy out. Feel the sting, feel the burn, basically, because it's not a nice thing to happen. But the something to keep in mind though is how you kind of respond to that person that rejects you is actually really important. Like, those moments after they've said, no, thank you, I'm not really interested in you in that way, can really determine basically how this person is actually going to think about you. And, it could be the case that they may actually change their mind about you down the future, depending on how well you actually handle this situation. So obviously, if you've come across this video and you've searched this video up, and this is the first video you found of mine, then obviously that time has already passed. Like, you've already had those moments where you've been rejected. Or it might be the case that you got rejected over Messenger, like it wasn't a face-to-face thing, and you're figuring out what's the best thing to respond when someone actually rejects you. But anyway, the best thing for you to do, so for future experiences, if you've already, been rejected and you've already responded to that rejection, so for future experiences, if this ever happens to you again, basically, when someone rejects you, the best thing for you to do is to actually say, oh, that's a shame, just take it as a compliment, but here's my number if you ever change your mind, if this is someone you don't know. And if they decline that, then be like, okay, never mind, don't worry about it, and just walk away. But if this is someone that you do know, then obviously they'll have your contact information, and you can say, just contact me if you ever change your mind about it. But just take it as a compliment, okay? That's kind of like the best way that you can actually respond when someone rejects you. And just be playing it off as like a very light-hearted thing, saying to them, oh, just take it as a compliment, don't act as if it's really bothered you. Obviously they might be able to tell some disappointment in you, but don't get carried away, don't become butthurt, don't become resentful, don't start asking questions like, oh, why not, why won't you go out with me? Don't ask things like that, because that makes you look really, really needy. It's best just to say, no worries, here's my information, if you change your mind, take it as a compliment. That's all you really need to say when someone rejects you. And then obviously you proceed to leave that person alone unless they contact you, okay? Obviously, if this is someone that you know in like a work setting, or it's a mutual friend or a friend, or it's someone that you know at school, so someone that you interact with a lot, it's in person, right? Then obviously always be polite to them, always be nice to them. Don't just start giving them the cold shoulder and ignoring them, because that's going to make them feel bad. And obviously you don't want them to feel bad, you want them to feel attracted to you. You want them to like you, right? So don't try and make them feel bad, don't give them the silent treatment. It's best when you see a crush that's rejected you around and you see them in person a lot. It's best to just always be polite and friendly, like how you are with everybody. So when you go into work, no doubt you say hi, how are you to everybody you work past, or you say good morning. You know, don't stop things like that just because they rejected you, because it's going to make them feel awkward. An experience that I went through, and this is an experience I talk about a lot sometimes in various videos and stuff, is when I was at university, there was someone that had a crush on me. And I rejected them because he was a guy and I'm a lesbian, so I was never really going to be interested in him. But because I rejected him, he just decided one day that he would, you know, not come up and talk to us. He would kind of isolate himself. He wouldn't like want to join groups. He basically just wanted to be on his own because I rejected him, and he wasn't including himself anymore in like the group activities, where before he had actually done that. And it just made me like look really bad and made me feel really bad for him, because it was like, oh my god, this guy is completely isolating himself because I rejected him. And it's not, it doesn't paint that person in a positive light. It kind of annoyed me as well. Like, it made me feel bad and it made me feel annoyed at him, because he was basically acting like a butthurt child because I didn't want to be in a relationship with him, which is kind of ridiculous, right? So don't behave in that way. Just don't start treating this person harshly or ignoring them, giving them the silent treatment, basically going into work or the environment that you know them in looking miserable. Don't do that. Always be happy, always be positive when you are around them, because one of the ways that you can make people like you more, and this is not just like with romantic prospects, right? This is just in general, but become someone who's fun to be around, become someone who makes the experience enjoyable. So, for example, when you're at work, there's probably someone that you know, or if you're at school, there's probably someone that you know who can always make whatever you're doing really, really fun. But not in a way that they're kind of distracting you and you're not getting on with your work. But you just really enjoy your shift together because you do the work and you enjoy it, and it just flies by because this person has such a great attitude, and you enjoy being around them. So aim to be more like that kind of person, and the people will want to be friends with you. People will start liking you, because we tend to avoid people who we have a lot of negative emotions associated to. We tend to avoid people who make us feel bad. We tend to avoid people that make us feel awkward and miserable. But we're drawn to those people that make us feel good, right? And if you can make this crush of yours feel really, really good and they enjoy being around you, then they're going to want to be around you more, and who knows, maybe something will happen. But the point is when you get rejected, do not become resentful about it, okay? Just accept it as a fact of life that you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and you will eventually find someone who does think you're really good, because really dating and finding the right person for you is more like a numbers game. So what this means is, you kind of, if you kind of have to go through a lot of people in order to find someone who you really gel with and who is really attracted to you and who you are really attracted to as well. Because obviously that's the point, right? You want to find someone who you're attracted to and they're attracted to you, and you share a lot of things in common so you can have a nice, healthy relationship. So it may take you, a lot of dates in order to find that person. It may take a lot of no's in order to get to that yes. So don't take it too personally. I know it stings, I know it hurts. Again, do what I said, as in scream when you get home, or, punch that punching bag at the gym for half an hour. Get that energy out of you. Admit that it sucks. Maybe journal about it if you want to as well. That's another great way to kind of process those kinds of experiences. And that will ultimately really help you out in getting over this kind of situation. So obviously, get back on the horse, start dating other people, start, putting yourself out there, You know, try to aim to have like maybe 2 dates a month if you possibly can. Don't just focus on like 1 or 2 people a year that you have long crushes on and stuff like that. Try not to let these things drag out. Just, you know, go on dates until you find that person who is, you know, who does like you, who's not going to reject you. And it is a numbers game. You do need to get through the no's in order to get to the yeses. And that was my video on how to handle rejection effectively and in the right way. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye, guys.